John McCann's the kind of guy who does not let any grass grow under his feet. You announced your candidacy for mayor more than a year ago. You're a New York native, spent 44 years in the securities industry before moving to the island back in 2003, so you've been here a while. You have also been on town council now for some time from your Port Royal Plantation base. Tell us a little bit about why that background and the background that everyone brings different to the island makes you qualified, most qualified to be mayor.
Sure. I first started coming here in 1988. We had a time-sharing in Shipyard. I always remember crossing that bridge for the first time. It was like a welcome home, like you wanted to be here, and it still is that way. Got involved in Port Royal Plantation, got involved, one of my better volunteer jobs was I chaired the Technical College's Foundation Board.
Okay.
The Technical College is the right organization for the right time in this community here along the way. Mm-hmm. Then decided to run for town council. Then I decided to run for mayor. And I decided to run for mayor because I think, that we weren't putting the island residents first. We weren't respecting our own process, that we handle business, and I thought that we needed better leadership than we have now.
I was going to ask you, what do you mean by putting the islanders first?
Well, you know, this is a residential community. Mm-hmm. When you look at Hilton Plantation, Port Royal, Indigo Run, Palmetto Hall, it's residential. It's kids on school bikes, it's adults. Those 5 plantations have one commercial space. That's the old Ford Pub. So we're residential, and we're fortunate enough to have great tourism. We are not tourism first and residents second. We are residents first and tourism second.
All right.
So I believe we always need to, whatever we do, think about how does it affect our residents more than how does it affect our tourism.
All right. Lots of issues to discuss that have been before the council and have been
Sure.
out in the public. Let's begin with transportation on the island, off the island, getting onto the island, and et cetera. What do you think needs to be done? Where do we need to go from here?
Let me back into that a little.
Okay.
We have now, if you go to your favorite restaurant down on Main Street, it's closed on Sunday because they're short workforce. I believe we have a workforce development problem. And we handle that problem in several ways. One is first of all, we have 44% of our commercial space on the island is vacant. If we repurpose that commercial space for housing, we could put some people in there that work on the island, school teachers, et cetera, along the way.
Is that just a zoning issue, or is that got to, I mean, you got to sell property, that's property you don't own.
It's a zoning and a density issue.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But to go along with that, to get back to your question, besides for the housing and besides for the education and besides for the benefits, transportation is the biggest piece of the puzzle. I mean, people are surprised, everybody doesn't want to live here. People are happy living where they live. We need transportation to get those people in, the workers in, from 6 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. We need carpools, we need parking lots out in Bluffton. We need to move the people here in an orderly, humane fashion to get them done. It's the biggest piece of the puzzle is transportation.
All right, the transportation sales tax is also on the ballot in November. You are in favor or against it?
Oh, I already voted for it.
Okay.
I was early voting,
Okay.
I voted for it. I think it's something that we need to do. I think people have to understand that in voting for that, you're not voting for 2 lanes or 3 lanes or for a bike path or walking path. You're voting for us to have design work done, engineering work done, to demonstrate to the state bank that we have money to go along with our request along the way. It's something we definitely need for the future.
All right. Once we get people on the island, you talked about parking lots in Bluffton to get people over. What are the transportation needs then? Public transportation maybe needs on the island. What do we need to do?
I think a trolley was a good try. I think we should increase the trolley system, especially in the tourist area down the other end of the island. And I think we need some transportation on the island to move residents along, yes.
You talk about residents first. Are the residents okay, you think, transportation-wise around the island? Do we not need to tinker with that at all? Or
The residents are okay.
I mean, the trolleys would be more for the tourists, I guess, is where I'm going with it. Yeah.
The residents' biggest concern is the daily traffic coming in. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. 70,000 people a day cross that bridge. More people cross that bridge than cross the borderline from South Carolina to Georgia. Mm-hmm. It is a very active day. On a school day, it's even more active, people coming in to support the school systems along the way. Mm-hmm. There's a lot we can be done with the transportation.
Mm-hmm. What's the next issue? What's another issue? What have I forgotten?
Transparency is the biggest issue.
Okay.
I mean, you know, when you look at transparency, when I ran the first time, 6 years ago, I guess it is now, I talked about putting the council meetings on TV. We did that. We talked about putting the finances of the town on the website. We did that. When Steve Riley, when we were trying to fire Steve Riley for the longest time, we finally went public with that. That's transparency. I think we should do more things transparent. I think a chamber contract and the chamber finances ought to be more transparent to the public. Everything we do should be transparent. We should have less items in executive session and more items in the public.
All right, there you go. That's.
Come on, I have 5 more questions.
Well, I mean, I think you've stated your case. You've stated.
Did I go too fast?
No, you did. You did
Okay.
fine. You did great.
I have the New York accent of going fast. You know what?
Hang tight with me there. John McCann joining us here on the Hilton Head News. We'll be back with a couple of more candidates when we continue this special Mayor's Forum.